Hello and welcome to TIWN Vision episode 2. I am joined by the fantastic Sheldon The Rapper, and he's going to be performing Parable to open the show.
Bum 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 bum
When I was 16, walking over the bridge, 6'6", stupid kids surrounded me, acting big, wondering what I had to give. Hey bro, what money you got? Hey bro, what phone you got? No knots, stomach in knots, about to get jumped. For what? An Alcatel phone, screen cracked where text scroll packed a lunch back with no food in my rucksack. I look like a hunchback. These boys trying to jump me for everything that I don't have. In that moment, I get kicked like a hacky sack. Don't know how I should react, so I pause. Breathe for a moment in thought. Class clowns are no round of applause. How do I escape their sport? Preying on someone so small. I should go crazy, I should start wailing. Who do I hit first? No room for error or failing. Up against the bridge railings. Then an aha moment. Before they take on me, maybe I should just take on me. What would they do if I made myself bleed? My fist clenched, I get against, I scream, come on man! Like I'm possessed. Before I can move or remove any chance of a youth, I won't let any arsehole give me a bruise. I'll let my fist loose. One to the eye, one to the nose. Blood starts to flow, everyone's froze. I'm shouting, screaming, I want it. Come on, who else? All the boys walk away, say I'm crazy as I stand there, punching myself. It's a London parable. London. Outside of a club, CR0. Tough boy try acting a hero, hitting on girls all for their ego. Surrounded by the smoking people, this guy's got a problem. Bouncing around under the watchman, I say stop. His fist drop, he start buzzing like he in the pollen. Call him Charlie cause he think he a brick. Talks part, he start acting a prick. He's ready to switch, he goes to swing but I'm about dancing. So a two-step left, smell booze on his breath. Push his shoulder, goes tumbling over. Acting like little kids, yeah, but he's way looking older. He comes out, hands up bolder. But ain't cold thinking stone cold sober. But it's round two, but he can't move. His right swing hasn't improved. He's ginger, Roger that. Dunking around, trying to tap. Dancing like he's on the attack. Move it really about to collapse. Concrete canvas is one step beyond madness. Baggy trousers, dirty shirt. No one really wants to get hurt, but his dignity's bruised. He's left drunk and confused, like a care home that's just let him loose. He doesn't see the dementia here. All his memories will disappear. I move again, he swoos in. Like a music box that's just opening. He roly-polies, lands on his back, pulls it in, land like a toddler, late not fodder. Oh, what a plonk, he stands up, goes for a wander. It's a London parable. London. When I was 18 in a band I played, unlikely to get paid. Except this one day, a bar had put a ton away. My liver's about to decay. The guitarist drove the bass player dry. Using the tab was up to this guy. Me, the shots and the pints would tree. Aftershock red, aftershock blue. Take a shot one, take a shot two. I was taking the shots away. Before and after I played, trying to dance, I could barely stand. When I stumbled and tumbled and fumbled outside. Throwing up, the boys came to see if I was alright. They said I was fine, so they pushed me onto my side. Honestly, I don't remember the rest of the night. Bottle of Jaeger shots I was taking, 4 pints of John Smith, they were amazing. How did I get home? I didn't know. Head was a mess, clothes were a mess, head felt distressed. Man, I was hurting. See, I wasn't used to this. I never got this pissed. My head was all in a mist. And then the memory started to come back. But not from the night before, like from way, way, way before. I felt like this before. This was the second hangover I've ever had in my life. The first was when I was 4, yeah, like 4 before I was 5.
That was Sheldon the Rapper singing Parable. Could you tell us a little bit more about the song and where it came from?
So when I was doing Last Days of London, the album that came out this year, I'd been writing about London for a long time. I'm from Wales, but I grew up in London. I just needed to say goodbye to it, basically. It was just me saying goodbye to London. The whole album is like from start to finish is me going on a journey and kind of saying goodbye to London. And I needed to do that because I needed to stop writing about London. I couldn't, every album I was writing about London as if it was still the same London it had been that I'd grown up with, and that's not what's there anymore. And so I needed to kind of like, tell all my stories, say all I had to say about London. And almost immediately, as soon as I did that, I'm already working on the next project, and it has nothing to do with London at all.
Do you find that easy though? Because since I stopped drinking, which majority of my songs were about that,
right,
and going out and stuff, relationships while you're intoxicated and stuff like that. I found it very difficult to find the next thing I want to write about. Has that been difficult, or?
Well, I'll tell you, the next project I'm writing, it's called War of the Words. Yeah. I've talked to a lot of people about this project. This project has been in my head for 20 years.
Wow.
So, but it's almost like I'm only now ready to do it.
Yeah.
And it's changed and it's progressed and it's evolved over time. Like, all the different ways in which I can, that I'm going to talk about things or speak to people about things, or like, the song story titles, whatever they're going to be. They're all kind of laid out. I'm genuinely the most excited I've been about anything I've ever done. But it's also the biggest project I've ever done. But if I hadn't done the London thing, I wouldn't have done this now. Also, I find that I won't work on something for ages. I did a mixtape album in 2013. I got 2012. I got a notification the other day. It'd been 13 years since I'd released it, and I remember at the time it was genuinely the hardest thing to get finished. So difficult. And at the moment, I seem to be in this sort of like golden era of I'm just being struck by like ideas and thoughts, and honestly, I'm finding it easier now than I've ever found it.
Wow. Do you reckon that comes with experience? Is it, you're in a different place to what you were 10 years ago, 20 years ago?
Very likely, and possibly that's what it is. But I think one of the biggest things is that one of the hardest things is if I'm not happy with something, I will just move on now. Mm-hmm. Whereas before I would almost pull myself down into the ground until I felt defeated. And
I also think as well, when you're younger, you feel as though when you've had an idea, you feel as though it might be your last idea that you'll ever have, and then you've got to like go, oh my God, I've got to perfect this.
Last profound idea.
Yeah.
Like for me, like I find, because I do the freestyle thing and I'm always kind of making stuff up in that.
Yeah.
I'll always get ideas. I know that they're always going to be there, but I have had times in the past where I've worried, what if it never gets better than this?
Yeah.
And actually the album I released in 2018, which was called Matter, that was like, I listened to that album and I thought like, wow, I can't believe I've made that. And now I've released 2 albums since then, and I'm now on my 3rd one, and everything has just progressively getting better. Everything. Yeah. The production, like even my knowledge of things, my writing ability, and also just like my ability to like rope in the right people.
Yeah.
Like that's a big thing. Like knowing the right, like, you know, meeting the right people and saying like, hey, I'm working on something. This might be out of your wheelhouse and out of what you're normally used to, but actually, I think you should. I've got a bunch of Americans on this next on this next album, and the big thing they're saying to me is, this was a challenge.
Yeah, there we go.
They're finding it, and I love that because it's like, and they like it as well because it's beats, instrumentals, and music that they're not used to going over.
Yeah.
They would go over the traditional hip hoppy rap kind of stuff, and this is very different to what they would normally
And again, I think we'll go back to that experience as well. It's having that confidence in yourself to go, I'm working on a project. Will you come on this project with me? I find because of how separated then the Welsh industry is at the moment and how you've got pockets of cliques and everything's so divided, I find, you know, go into someone and go in, I've got an idea, will you come on with this? It's always like, no. And there's such a standoff, and I'm like, my whole thing, and you know, you've known me for a while now. My whole thing is getting people together. It's not that I waste my time because, you know, things like this and the magazine and the PR, it's not wasting my time.
No.
But it's also, I'm also not focusing on me when I do these things.
No, I understand
I'm always focusing on other people.
Yeah.
And I just find, I don't know whether it's my age.
Yeah.
You know, but I'm looking around now and these people are relatively my age.
Yeah.
So I'm like, why have I suddenly potentially grown up and gone, you know, let's all work together, we can all progress together, where everyone is still in what I would call that late teens, early 20s mindset of going, this is mine, I will do it on my own. I
think that you're onto something, and I think one of the things I would say is, and I think Welsh, I mean, it's everywhere, it's all over the country, but in Wales especially, there is a problem with, and I like I love lots of Welsh artists, and there's lots of Welsh people that I know who are amazing, but the Welsh people are very proud. They have been for a long time. The problem is, we now don't. So I think sometimes, you know, they say pride comes before the fall. I think that Welsh people, there's an arrogance that also with a lot of musicians that has come, that now it's almost like sort of like, well, I don't need you. And it's something like, well, it's not about needing me.
No.
It's about being creative and being exploratory and reaching for those things that you could never reach for before. The big thing for me with the Welsh scene, especially because that's now what I'm in, like I've got like people in London, Nottingham, in Bedford, in Bristol. I've got people all over who are willing to work with me all the time. Wales, there's a few people, there's a group in Merthyr now who started to work with me. They're interested in having me work with them, which is great. But there's actually, for a really long time, Wales has been the struggle. Yeah. I am Welsh, but actually it's borders and barriers built up, and it's almost like an idea that you have to, there shouldn't be a fight for me to get in.
Yeah.
You know, like I can understand that people want to be protective of stuff, but if you're so protective of something that you're not willing to see that somebody has love for something, then you're never going to get the best out of it.
Yeah.
You're always going to struggle.
I think some of the best people I've worked with have that same mindset of, you know, let's create together, let's make some magic together. And most of them, like you said, they don't have to.
No.
You know, they do it, again, it's a bit like me. I don't have to work on different projects with other people.
No.
I don't have to invite other musicians onto my work, whether it's in my live band or my projects. I do it because I feel as though that's how I was brought up. I was brought up by that sense of community.
And I was in London too.
Yeah.
I was too. Because my dad's from Tredegar originally. So like, you know, Ferry Valley's like kind of like, you know, town. But he was very much like, you know, that collaboration of working with musicians and people you've never worked with and having these kind of like little things happen. But actually the big thing for me, one of the biggest things is it's not just about like, you know, do you know, there's a samurai thing where steel sharpens steel, where if you work with people below you or above you or whatever, if you work with as many people as you can, you'll only sharpen your own ability and skill. Anyone out there, I don't care how famous or how in the game they are, progressed, how far along they are, they would be surprised how much they would be able to learn from somebody, say like me, or say somebody younger than me, or somebody like older than me, or like if from any walk of life. Steel should sharpen steel.
Yeah. I think everyone brings in their own experience. You know, just because of age, you know, you could have someone who's just starting out when they're 40.
Yeah.
But you could have someone who is, I don't know, say 25, but has been working since, I don't know, they were 10 or 12 or something. You know, I think there's this thing with artists at the moment where it's easier for a songwriter because you say, right, this song right with other people, and they're accepting of that.
Yeah.
And they're like, okay, yeah, that's cool. But then when you progress into, okay, maybe let's record together, maybe let's share this song, let's, I don't know, let's do some PR, let's do some marketing together. That is where they start to go, well, whether it is that ego thing of I want my face front and center, you know,
I don't like to say that it is, but honestly, that's my experience.
Yeah.
My experience. I'm not trying to put anyone down. I'm literally just trying to say my experience in this situation is, I always try to lead with kindness. I always try to lead with openness. I always try to make my abilities, my skills, whatever I have to bring to the table, I try to give it. It's there for anyone to use.
Yeah.
But it's a shame because the art is meant to be this thing that's giving and is open. And I think that that's the thing that in Wales I struggle to see, is the openness of people within the art to like, you know, like allow others into the thing that they're doing.
Do you think that starts from the top? You know, you've got these people, you've got your government, you've got your arts councils, you've got these sort of people. Do you think there is something filtering down?
Wherever it's happening, like change can happen from either side. So, I mean, I don't want to just go to the top and just say like, you know, it's their fault, because actually we as people who work regular jobs, or we struggle to get by on the music we make, or however we get by, actually we have as much, like, you know, as musicians, as a network, we can actually do almost as much, if not more, than what the people at the top. Yes, we may not get the funding, but if we were collectively together working towards the same goal, working towards the same thing, working towards an artistic and beautiful Wales that can share itself with the world, then actually the top would have to take notice anyway.
Yeah. My thing has always been, I don't think everyone needs the funding.
No, they don't.
I think if everyone does work together, like I've always been this big thing of going, if I do a favour for someone else, they'll do it for me. You know, it's that kind of way of working. Again, it's very Valley. It's just, you know, you give a loaf of bread, they'll give you some sugar. Like it's that sort of thing. I think everyone does that within music or within any sort of creative industry.
Yeah.
Then I don't think you need that funding. Everyone can build each other up.
And I think that's what we're missing, is that I think that, and also this happens though, I think people get the funding and then forget that there is a plethora of very talented people out there who could probably do with help.
Yeah.
You know, and that's not to say that people aren't willing to, but it does feel like, and I'm going to say this, I'm not necessarily doing enough to change that.
Yeah.
There, you know, we're all probably very guilty of not doing enough to change not the goalpost, change what the playing field looks like. Yeah. Because actually, we're all on the playing field, and it's like we're all chasing the ball, even though there are 15 other balls over there, and they could throw them on the pitch, and we could all have a really nice kickabout. There's actually 50 of us all chasing one ball at a time, and then somebody gets it and they take it, and then we're all like, oh, well, where's the other ball? And it's like they're throwing one ball on the pitch at a time. Yeah. And actually, what we should be doing is, we should be going like, okay, well, let's all just pass this ball to each other. Let's share this ball. Yeah. And then they'll probably toss more balls in because they'll see that we're all working collaboratively. I don't know where that analogy's come from. It's
but
just like popped
it's
in
spot
the
on.
Yeah. And that thing of that idea of like why we don't work together in a way that's I don't know. It just feels like we're missing sort of like. It feels like there's no network that's holding everything up. It feels like we're all just too like disparate and separate and too easily divided. Yeah. When we have so much as artists, whether this be photography, filming, music, art, like painting, whatever, whatever it actually be. We have so much in actual common with each other, but it almost seems like we're all fighting over the same piece of meat, and none of us are actually getting fed.
At Vinyl Funders, we believe in the power of music to connect, inspire, and transform. We understand the challenges artists face in bringing their music to life in physical form. That's why we've built a platform that not only helps fund vinyl production through pre-sales. Our commitment goes beyond just being a marketplace. We're a community that celebrates the artistry of music, the warmth of vinyl, and the direct connection between creators and their audience. Through Vinyl Funders, we're making it possible for more artists to share their music in its most authentic form.
Again, you were talking about this divide, and I say it until I'm blue in the face. But it is very much a Cardiff and a Newport thing, and then it's the valleys, and then you've got kind of your West Wales and your Swansea areas. It's like, why can't everyone work together? And that's my biggest thing. And I talk to everyone that I meet, and they're just like, oh yeah, I know it is a bit separated, and but no one's got the answer. No one's willing then to stand up and say, this is a reason why, or is it because we're all afraid that, we're all going to get cancelled, we're never going to have an opportunity to work again?
Who knows? I tell you what, actually, I think that's just what's just hit me. The thing that we kind of need to get past more than anything, in my opinion, is the North hate the South, the South hate the Southeast hate the Southwest, the middle hate everyone. Actually, but why? But why? But why? Why do you dislike? Why does the South and North dislike each other? Like, what's the actual reason? I know. Like, the thing is, they can say it's because of what? Yeah. It's not because of anything. Well,
I know you can say it's because of the Welsh language, and everyone speaks it slightly different reasons, in different regions. Yeah. And don't get me wrong, I understand that, because the actual judgment that you get of someone who speaks Welsh, compared to, if I walk into a room and someone's speaking Welsh and I'm like, well, sorry, I never had the opportunity. I'm working full time. I can't afford to take a month off to go and do some training. I would love to speak Welsh.
I was thinking about this earlier today. I was thinking about, wonder what would happen if the Welsh government just said, if you go on a Welsh language course for a year and you pass an exam, you'll get £1,000. I guarantee you, I know that sounds like, well, where did that money come from? They're spending money on stuff that you don't even want to know about. Honestly, couldn't even tell you. If they actually did this as a thing of you pass that exam, you get, do you know how many people would learn Welsh? Yeah. Because they'd just be like, well, it's like, they would not free money, but they'd be like, well, I just have to do this. And and then it would encourage, because the problem is, you could even learn Welsh here if you have the money, and you could learn to pay to speak Welsh, but the problem is then, as soon as you've learned to speak it, no one around you speaking it, so where are you practicing?
Yeah.
Well, you know, it's all good and well. We all go to a school. We all go to, you know, we will practice for that 1 hour a week where we're all learning in a school, a school classroom or whatever. But if no one in the shops, no one in the classroom or anything is speaking it, does it even matter? You can't and I know that my whole family from West Wales, apart from my dad's from Tregear, but my mum's side of the family from West Wales, they all speak Welsh. They spoke Welsh my whole life. They really, they would speak Welsh in front of me. My great-grandmother didn't because she knew I didn't understand it because I grew up in London. She was very, very nice about it.
Yeah.
Everybody else was a bit rude. And I was always just in my head. And so the north and the south thing to me was always confusing because I'm like, well, you're both speaking Welsh. One is slightly different to the other. Don't get me wrong. There are differences. But why is there... the only hatred I can understand the north having for the south is that everything seems to be centred around Cardiff. But but what people in the north need to understand is, as somebody who lives near Cardiff, I have a problem with that too.
I know.
Like you know, because
we know what, 40 minutes away.
Yeah.
And nothing comes our way into the valleys.
No, nothing comes this way.
You know, we get greeted at the city gates, you know, and saying, "Where are you from?"
Yeah.
No, you ain't coming in.
No, you know, and like also like, you know, and it's that thing of like you need to tick certain boxes to be able to be pronounced as Welsh enough, or be pronounced as like, you know, like, oh, you're true Welsh, and you're like, well, what does that even mean?
No, I'm Welsh.
What does that mean? Like, what does it mean? Like, what does being more Welsh than somebody else mean? Like, my dad was a coal miner. My grandfather worked in the steelworks.
Yeah.
I don't think you can get much more Welsh than that. That's like as Welsh as you can get.
Yeah.
Like, so like, if you want to talk about like how Welsh are you, I don't think it's about like lineage or like, I don't actually think it's even about lineage. I think it's about how you feel. Like, does driving through a valley, does walking through a valley, does walking up a hill, does singing or does hearing song in the valley with a choir, does that make you feel some sort of fulfillment? Does that fill your cup up? And if that does, then I would say surely you're far more Welsh than most other people who just say, well, like, you know, I speak Welsh. Well, great, we speak Welsh. Like, that's really great.
Yeah.
And I'm really glad that you got that opportunity in school to learn Welsh and then to speak Welsh and then to continue doing that. And that became something that would suit you and your vocation, and the people around you all spoke Welsh.
Yeah.
But for lots of people, it wasn't an option,
No,
especially in the valley.
absolutely not. Like, there's, you know, I think probably the first time that I ever was aware of a proper Welsh school was probably when I was about 10 or 11. You know, I went to an English-speaking primary school, and then all of a sudden there was all these secondary schools popping up everywhere.
Yeah.
And I'm like, yeah, great, but I couldn't go from an English primary school to a Welsh secondary school.
Yeah.
You know, that opportunity had already gone by that point.
I mean, things are changing now, and it is really good that they're changing for young people. The problem is, if you don't teach the parents to speak Welsh, the children are never going to learn.
No.
Because that conversation's not happening at home.
No.
My daughter's learning to speak Welsh. She has been since she was in primary school. She's 12. She's not ever going to be a conversational Welsh person unless she does more in her adult life. It's never going to happen now because people in her life don't speak Welsh. And it's not through lack of wanting to, it's through lack of there being anything. I mean, libraries used to offer like Welsh language groups and stuff that you could go to. Most libraries are closing down.
I know.
You can't even like, which is like, you know, you're like, well, there are things available to you. In what town?
Yeah.
What are you
Where
talking
and
about?
when, and you know, nothing is advertised either. I've always said, and there's a group of us musicians who feel the same. You know, I personally, anyway, I can't speak for every single one of those, but I would much rather the government fund me for, say, 2 weeks to take time off work, give me the funds to go somewhere, like a retreat, and learn Welsh that's all you do is speak Welsh while you're there for that 2 weeks. I would much rather have the funding for that than go and do my music. Because I have other avenues for that. I'm a gigging musician. Like, I play over 100 times a year doing gigs.
But it's like I said, but like, can you imagine if the government said, oh, if you pass this exam at the end of the year, if you're not a Welsh speaker and you're learning Welsh, imagine how many people would take that up.
Yeah.
And I know that sounds insane because you're like, well, that's a lot of money. But also, I mean, we just wasted a bunch of money on the high-speed rail from London to Manchester, that was taken from us, and that's not even touching Wales. Doesn't even make sense. So for me, I'm like, Wales is too separated, segregated, but it seems to be all personal choice. I don't understand. Like, it's not even seem like it's been imposed.
Yeah.
It's like we're all doing it on to each other. And my other thing is that I want people to stop being judgmental of the fact that, like, you know, like what Welsh is. I feel incredibly Welsh.
Yeah.
And I feel like I'm proud to, this is going to probably come back to bite me a bit. I'm proud to be Welsh. I'm not always proud of Welsh people. And I don't mean that, like, I know, like, and that is not directed at anyone in particular. That is me just saying, I meet many, in the line of work I do where I work with young people, I meet many incredible Welsh people. And I'm also just, sometimes I'm like, it's a shame to see Welsh people being so, like, putting up such barriers.
Yeah.
And I don't know if it's to do with there being a lack of, like, places for musicians to play, or like there's lack of money there. There isn't a lack of it. It's just that no one is paying.
Yeah.
There is
money there.
There is money there. You know, you only have to look at Ireland. Ireland at the moment have just started paying their musicians minimum wage.
Yeah.
Like, even if they're not doing any other job, they just get minimum wage, as long as they can prove that they're working musicians who are doing as much as they can to perfect their craft or do whatever they want. I mean, like, you know,
Like,
if somebody like Ireland, like, you know, and this, like, you know, like, you can't help but celebrate something like that. That's, like, incredible.
That's fantastic. It was actually, I brought it up on the first episode to the boys about that, and they were like, "What, really?" You know, and I'm like, "Yeah, like, come on, tell everyone. If everyone knows about this, then surely us as musicians can all get together."
That actually makes sense. That,
You
like,
know,
it's
and just be like, "Well, come on, government, let's do something."
Well, and this is the thing. There is something to be done, and it can be done. And obviously what you have to do is, as someone like that, you do need to prove that you are working to be an ambassador for your country.
Yeah.
But fine. I would happily be an ambassador for Wales if I was as part, like, you know, if it was like I was suddenly like, oh, like the Euro on a minute. Like, I know that
Everyone who knows me knows I hate going out to Wales.
Yeah.
Like, I love Wales. I love the valleys. I go out of Wales and I have hives, and then I come back in, and then the air is just,
We are in the beautiful, beautiful Memo Theatre in Newbridge.
Yeah.
And we're filming here because I actually didn't have a venue.
No.
I didn't have a venue that I wanted to. And I said to you, I literally said...
Because you're not Welsh.
I said, all right, you go. See, I said to you, though, I said, well, because none of my performing career in Wales started a lot later in my life.
Yeah.
But I said to you, I said, look, I said, the only places that mean anything to me are in London. And you went, well, I'm not going there.
Absolutely not. Don't get me wrong, I like going to watch shows there, but I like to just go in on the bus, drop you off right outside the theatre, you jump in, and then they pick you up, and then I'm home.
That's not going to London, that's just going to a theatre.
Yes, but in London.
That's funny.
That's about it for me.
Funny.
But like I said, I'm not a city person. It's the same when I go to Cardiff and more.
So Cardiff's not a city to me, you see.
Yeah,
I know it is.
Well,
I know
yeah,
it is.
it's like
I know it is.
Like a baby version.
I know it. Yeah, it's very like it's quaint.
Yeah.
And I don't mean that horribly. I just mean like because when people say to me, "Oh, you go," like I was DJing a gig once, and the bouncer said, "Oh, the stuff you play is very Cardiff," and I went, "All right," and he went, "I went to Cardiff once. I wouldn't go again." I was like, what the hell? That was like, to me, was mind blowing because I was like.
I went once.
What do you mean? Yeah, he went, I went once, wouldn't go again. I was like,
same.
What do you mean? I was
Saying
like,
I'm there
no,
quite
you
often.
go, but you travel about. You do go to other places.
Yeah,
you do
yeah.
go to other places. But he was
not a choice.
No. Oh no. Oh, that's funny. No. I think Wales is. It's funny how Wales, when I was growing up, was known as the land of song.
Yeah.
And now, when I look at it and I look at what's happening, it's almost, I feel like Wales has forgotten how to sing.
Oh, what a fantastic place to stop. I love that. Thank you very much for joining me.
That's right, you're very welcome.
Absolute pleasure. What are you going to end the show with?
Oh,
What song are you going to be playing?
I'm going to do a spoken word thing, I think.
Yeah.
I'm going to just do a spoken word thing, which is just, I'm going to be reading it, unfortunately, because I wrote it not that long ago.
Yeah.
And it's just about the corruption and depravity in government. So all thoughts and opinions are of my own. So please do not direct any hate towards Keisha.
Broken, in Britain choked. A bloke thinking, blistering hope. A folk victim when systems spoke, wrote wisdom, prison closed, supposed visions, admissions of smoke, dismissive, vindictive, predictable leaders, a spitting in fever, try to make us believers, just dealers of fear and sellers of coke. Brothers, listen. We're fearing those that used to fear the vote, and now they lie and they gloat. The lie grows, Pinocchios can't see their face for their nose. Words trickle, fickle thinkers, brittle believers, believing gold. Black, white, or a country soul. Winter's cold, winter's coming, and the government says, kill the old! Work all your life, pension stole, pension sold, pens control, penicillin and whole penitentiary homes. Evidence of presidents makes no sense. War criminals live in elegance. Blair to Bush, Osama, Obama, Brown to Cameron, Trump to May. Johnson is hiding behind them cups of tea he's trying. Biden is climbing and falling away. Biding time keeps me lying awake. Sunak is just the same. Snakes all eating snakes. Out of touch, eats as much as he can touch. In a rush he feeds his bunch and forgets us. Farage, a mirage of a person with values, who values his image to a higher degree. Then he sees people like you or me, from a class of people that closed every single factory. Kia appears a man of the people, but is equally evil. Selling the state to the son of a war criminal. We're no longer at the pinnacle, now we're on the precipice. Talking and pressing his stammer stutters on pause, because 1% means more than 99 does. We're just lunch. Spit us out. Easy how they push you down, be happy with scraps, quiet your mouths, proverbs in suburbs just subvert what making it means, trying to be the means, number one in the scene, doesn't mean you're seen, just an obscene belief that the people in charge of the country will make you want to leave. Branch out on your own, bark all you want, but the dog you had in a fight gets put to sleep. Vets get put out on the street. A country of freedom allows me to say this, but allows me to do nothing about this. It's all a fallacy. All phallic policies. Dicks swinging on dicks, reaching for asses to kiss with their lips. The way we're fed will make you all sick. They say Stockholm Syndrome doesn't really exist. But if that's true, why don't I resist? Because we fall in love with a system that we can just about live with. But we're barely living. All victims, told we're victors, but winners don't whimper. Cry for your brothers and sisters. Victory's sweet, but cold like the winter. Where we get left, we taste the bitter. The hanging tree is still a symbol of depravity in every country, in every city, across this great country, Great Britain. What Great Britain? Just wait thinking. When will Britain ever be great?